On the 16th of June, Scriptum is getting a huge update which improves quite a bit of the game and lays groundwork for the future of the game. So let's run through it. The main thing it's getting is an Unreal Engine upgrade to 4.27. I think the current version is 4.21, but just that upgrade gives a lot of improvements to the game, such as increased performance and stability, improved graphics and improved lighting. There'll be improvements to asset rendering, which is things like houses, trees, rocks, that sort of stuff. 4.27 also gives the devs more tools and opportunities to improve the visual quality of the game in future updates. And this engine upgrade also lays the groundwork for increasing the player count from its current count, which is 80 players, to 100 players. DLSS will now be supported with Scriptum. If you don't know what DLSS is, it's deep learning super sampling, and it uses AI to essentially upscale your resolution, which will improve the visual quality and improve the performance. And the devs are saying you can expect up to 50% performance increase, which is huge for the game. But for DLSS, you do need an RTX graphics card. And also, we don't know which version of DLSS is being implemented in Scriptum. But putting in DLSS into Scriptum is awesome, really. I wish many more games would implement DLSS. It's just extra frame rate and a better looking game. Why not, right? If you don't have an RTX card, NVIDIANIS will be supported, which is an image upscaling sort of technology. And this is kind of like a lesser version of DLSS. You don't need an RTX card. It doesn't use AI to upscale the image. You will still get better performance, but not as much as DLSS, and you may not get as a good image quality compared to DLSS. It's still good to know that people that don't have an NVIDIA RTX card can still use this if they're really struggling for performance. A bug that's kind of plagued the game for a while is the Intel CPU crash. If you've got a 10th, 11th or 12th gen CPU, the game could crash on startup, but upgrading the Unreal Engine to 4.27 fixes this, which is great news for Intel users. And lastly, better foliage. While better foliage doesn't sound great on paper, if you look at these two comparison images, it looks a lot better, especially with the better lighting. One of the sort of negatives against Scriptum is that while it doesn't look dated, it just doesn't look as good as it should really when you compare it to something like Hell Let Loose. Hell Let Loose graphically looks better. While Scriptum has better particle effects, the sort of landscape and stuff doesn't look as good. So increasing the quality of the foliage will help to just improve every single map. In Scriptum, you have a staging phase, which is at the beginning of the map. You have a certain amount of time to get your squads together, get in vehicles, stuff like that, so you can move out. Squad has it, Hell Let Loose has it, and well, yeah, Scriptum does have it, but the staging time on different maps and modes is different, kind of a bit random it feels like, but they're bringing in a 3.5 minute staging phase for every map and every mode, so it's going to be just the same amount of time across every map. So now you will be able to actually get your squad sorted out, maybe get some little movements and tactics sorted out before moving out. I think 3.5 minutes might be a bit too much, but it's a good change coming to the game. Some work on tanks are now being done. Recently, the armored update came into Scriptum. I'm not an armored player in Scriptum or even Hell Let Loose. I like my infantry, but from what I've heard, the armored update in Scriptum has been a great change. But what they're changing is the APCR, HVAP, and APDS shells currently can behave incorrect because they can penetrate armor at extreme angles, but this is being fixed, so the shells will now sort of ricochet off instead of penetrating the armor. The spawn menu has also been improved. Currently, once you've chosen your faction, you sort of have to click on different things in the spawn menu to choose your role, to choose your squad and choose your role. They're sort of just simplifying it a little bit, removing the amount of menus you have to click through. So now you just choose your faction, and in this one screen you can just choose your squad and your loadout and where to spawn. It's a small change, but I think it's a little decent one. A lot of the maps in the game have been looked at in terms of main base camping, some of the main bases have been too close to the control points you need to, attack or defend, and this has led to main base camping in some maps. I haven't come across this, but I haven't played Postscriptum, that much. But they're changing a lot of the maps, so this won't happen. And also onto bug fixes. I don't have a full list of the bugs that are being fixed. I would like to get a full patch notes to go through and at least highlight some of the major ones to you. But what the devs have said is that over 300 level design bugs have been fixed. This could be something as simple as assets that are clipping through things, or like a tree which is hovering above the ground. A lot of things like that sort of break immersion in games. I see it all the time in games like Postscriptum. I've seen the levels, the assets where they're not quite placed correctly, like they're hovering or a little bit too low, or they're clipping through something. Hopefully in these bugs they fixed, they are fixing that. They're small fixes, but it improves the quality of the maps. I'm mainly a Hell Let Loose player, and the devs are constantly going back and looking at the old maps and fixing little things like this. I also hope that with this huge bug fix list they're putting into the game with this new update, that gameplay bugs are being fixed. And then lastly, some sneak peeks about future content. We're getting the Ardennes map, so here's a sneak peek of what to expect with that. It's going to be an armored focused map, so probably a map I won't enjoy because I'll be getting blown up from tanks all the time. But new content, still new content. And the Operation Mercury mod, which is directly integrated into the game. We have a sneak peek at a new faction that's coming to their maps, which are going to replace the current German faction. A sneak peek at the Greek forces coming into the Operation Mercury mod. And gotta say, I don't think I've ever played as the Greek forces in a World War II game or any game, so it'd be interesting to see what sort of equipment they have. And another sneak peek at a map which is actually coming in this mod, and I hope I say this correctly, Rethymno, I think. I probably butchered that name, so I apologize for that. But here's a little sneak peek of some moments from the trailer, which I'll link in the description for it. And that's all for this update for Postscriptum. I have been playing the game more, and I am enjoying it. I am mainly a Hell Let Loose player, but if you do enjoy Postscriptum content, subscribe to the channel because there will be more of it in the future. Give this video a like. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.